Hey, welcome back, everybody. It's time for another episode of Leader Generation, brought to you by Tenlo Radio, a show where we help B2B and CPG marketers generate data that turns into money. Starting with a woman who makes tons of money. Oh, just tons of money here, Tessa Burke.
Yes, that's right. Thank you, Paul. So today we have another person who's making a lot of money building relationships online. And this episode is important, especially now as we think about building relationships in B2B marketing without trade shows and without being able to physically connect with our clients. So my guest is Brittany Mady. She is coming to us, well, she recently moved to Cleveland from Atlanta, and now is coming to us from her home in Cleveland. Brittany, thanks for being our guest today.
Thanks for having me.
So I wanted to start off by, before we met, I was taking a look at your social presence, as if I'm going to have a social media marketer on the show, wanted to see what does that look like? You have 73,900 followers on Instagram. And I know you said just 2 to 3 years ago, you had 300. Tell us, how did you do that? How did you build such a huge following?
Well, one of my passions since I was younger was acting, but I was always in my adult life in the corporate America world in marketing. So my acting agent and manager looked at my online presence, and I had everything private because I didn't want my clients to see that acting side, the entertainment side of me. But they told me if I want to take entertainment seriously, acting seriously, that I need to jump on the social media bandwagon and up my following. At that time, a lot of indie filmmakers, even certain networks will Google you and look at your presence to see what audience you already have to bring to the table. And that's a big deciding factor sometimes when deciding on two talents. So there could be one person that is equally talented that has 300-ish followers like I had, or someone else who has over 70,000. Who are they going to hire? So I decided to utilize my marketing experience and education and apply that to myself. Initially, I was referred and hired someone to help me maintain it because I had nothing. So I had to create my own content, pictures, videos, and then I had someone in there finding followers for me. Now this isn't completely allowed, but a big part of it was they took a list of other up-and-coming African-American actresses with 10, 20-ish thousand. I'm not talking like Angela Bassett or Halle Berry, someone a little bit like myself, and I gave them a list. And so the company had their team, and they were into my Instagram account and would go in and from my account those other people's followers and post, assuming that, hey, if they like this person that's up and coming, why not like Brittany? So my responsibility was just to keep them coming, keep content. Back then I did videos, photo shoots. A big thing I learned is that people go to social media to see pretty pictures, to be motivated, inspired, and to learn something. So that's what I just encompassed with my post, and it just got crazy and overwhelming. It's like a full-time job.
I'm sure. I mean, that is huge. So you spent all this time and energy and really digging into what motivates your audience and what keeps them coming back. How did you translate the benefits that you were experiencing as an individual to helping to create motivating, engaging content for businesses?
Well, at that time, I worked in property management. So what I learned, even though it was just myself, is people like personality. So I noticed some of my other friends who were trying to start, my peers in acting, weren't getting the same results, is because they weren't really posting things that had themselves with the personality behind it. So I would do silly videos, or maybe I'm eating something really good and I'm in my stories oh my gosh, you guys have to try this. And one of my peers, her name was Tabitha Brown. We were in the same kind of theater group together. And she posted a video about a sandwich from Whole Foods that was vegan and got a deal with Whole Foods. The video went viral, and it was just simply her in her car guys, this sandwich is so good, and just that personality behind it. So what I took into my buildings is I gave my buildings, the businesses, some personality. So we would do videos, tours, and although it was a group of us, it was still that personality behind the brand. So people want to be entertained, whether it's in entertainment or in business. So that's how I take the personality and add it.
Yeah, that's a great point. And I think that's, something that feels like it's missing right now for a lot of us is that, that human connection and the personality behind the brands.
Right.
So if we're thinking about, okay, I want to start, putting my company, putting my brand out there, showing more of what makes us work and unique, like how do they get started?
Well, I always recommend interns. So how I wasn't really privy to what's happening. So my little brother is who I kind of go for, like what's trending, what's out. And I would say that with businesses as well, if there are people in this business that have the absolute do not know where to start with social media, is hire someone that's freshly out of school or a new marketer. It's not always the person that has 30, 40 years of experience because things change. So you want to diversify that and have those different elements and see what's trending and stay on top of the trends. And in regards to finding the personality, having a meeting, just like, what do we want? Look at your core values, really. Look at your mission statement and really look at it and see how to put a personality behind it. A brand I can think of, it's not necessarily B2B, but Wendy's does a great job at this. They're always trending on Twitter and social media. They're always up with the times. They're making political statements. They took a personality of whomever runs their social media and they're in the forefront. I mean, I don't even preferably eat that, but when I'm thinking of fast food, Wendy's sticks out because I always see them and I'm saying they're like, it's a human, but that's how they make me feel about their brand because they add some personality to it.
Yeah. And I think that's important because, people do business with people. So I think you're right that it keeps it top of mind and it keeps it more personal, even though it's on social. So you mentioned that it's a full-time job and you have to stay up on the trends. What are some ways that you've done that to make sure that the trends that you're following are what people actually care about or want to see from you or from the companies you work for?
So personally, I can give an example. I didn't do this, I was a little late to it, but the Met Gala, like we all know, the Met Gala is something that comes up every year. And some of my, I guess they call it content creator, influencer friends had content pre-created prior to the Met Gala, because they knew that event was coming up. So having that social media calendar, like what's coming up, whether it's National Donut Day or Ice Cream Day or big events, the Oscars, everything is accessible via Google and you can pre-plan that out even quarterly. But another thing is like if a news break happens, so what your business pertains to, like for instance, something for me personally is like the Hollywood Reporter or different news outlets, see what pops up that day, like, oh my gosh, let me make some content related to this. Let me incorporate some hashtags created to this. So when people are seeing this big news break, my brand, my personal brand pops up close to that and I was already on it and not a day late.
Wow. So that does sound like a lot, but I think it's manageable. So you really have to find like what events or even milestones your audience is following, yes, and then sort of back out what content is going to be relevant on that day and maybe leading up to it.
And recycled content. You could have done something 2 or 3 years ago, or maybe you had a video where you can break it down and like, oh my gosh, that's relevant now. Because as you're growing, new followers come. They're not going to see something necessarily that happened 6 months ago, or even if they did, they may have forgotten. So when you're doing content, videos, pictures, always think forward too.
Okay, that's interesting. So I'm wondering, you have a ton of followers. To build up that audience or keep them engaged, do you ever interact with them one-on-one, or how do you create sort of an open communication channel, or like start building sort of those deeper personal relationships with your audience?
I have to do better at that. But with my post, I try to respond to everything that's relevant in my comments, because with the algorithm specifically on Instagram and Facebook, they reward you for actually being social on their social media platforms. So if people are sending you messages or commenting and you're not replying, that's going to put you down a little bit lower when people are scrolling through or in the discovery or explore pages. They reward you for being social. I know something you can do, especially for businesses, they have canned responses. So something I get a lot in my Instagram messages is, how do I become an actress? Or how do I get paid partnership with brands? So I have something that's already formulated, so I'm not taking a lot of time and typing that out to send and respond. But I try to respond to as many relevant questions as I can.
That's a great idea. I love having that. Happens a lot. I see that you get some of the same questions. So for, you're a person representing your own personal brand, what do you recommend for companies? Like, should it be coming from the company's brand or a specific person within a company?
Well, I personally recommend you want to keep it brand focused, because people do not stay with companies forever. So you want to have the brand, and you want to hire someone who really encompasses the brand, but they're speaking for the brand. Now, in regards to content related, they're going to have to be people in it. So you can I know we hired actors when I worked in property management, when we were doing our new construct buildings, to introduce them to businesses and hospitals, so they would place their people in our long-term housing apartments. So we would hire actors to come in and kind of make it like this is the best place to stay. So if people do not feel comfortable in the company to be on camera or demonstrate products or whatever that may be, hire local actors and have them do the content for you.
That's awesome. So I had a question and then I just lost it. You just said something really interesting. Paul started wiggling his fingers, signaling that we had 2 minutes.
Oh, it's my fault. I see. It's my fault here.
I'm going to blame you, Paul. I'm going to blame you. I was like, oh, that was it. But could we take our break now to see if my thought comes back to me?
Let's do that. Let's take the break. I'm sorry to disrupt your thought. I was trying to give you a quiet hand signal. Instead, I just totally disrupted the flow of the conversation here.
That's fine.
All right. Well, we'll hang on. We'll be right back right after this. And all we wanted to tell you is that in the past year, marketing and sales have changed dramatically. So where does your business go from here? Well, there's one idea that we're going to throw out here. Why don't you sign up for a 1-hour digital readiness session with Tenlo? They'll talk about how you can meet your business goals using digital marketing. Yeah, this new stuff we're all trying to figure out. Plus, you'll receive a digital readiness playbook. That's worth the effort right there. It's a step-by-step guide to execute digital marketing tactics that drive growth and deliver sales, something you didn't think digital could do. If you want to learn more about all of this, it's pretty simple. You simply go to tenlo.com, just like it sounds, TENLO.com, and you can sign up. So check it out. The new digital readiness sessions. Get your copy of their digital readiness playbook and be ready for wherever digital goes in this new crazy era. Okay, surely now we've given you plenty of time to come back and think about the question. If not, I have one for your guest here.
Yes. So Paul, I'll let you go first because I wrote it down so I won't forget.
Okay.
So what is your question?
You know, the whole title of this show is The Power of B2B Social Media in a Remote World. Is it really powerful, or is it just a poor substitute? Because that's what I hear over and over again. It doesn't, social media, yeah, you can connect with more people and everything, but it's not the same. And I wonder, I think it's a different kind of connection. I wonder what your guest thinks about that.
Well, the power is in your tracking and your lead generation. So I'm an advocate for, if you're doing something and you're not getting results and you're not getting leads, then you need to change it and switch it up. My experience with working in property management, the way I knew what we were doing worked is because we saw the results. We were filling up our apartment buildings, we were reaching out there, we were on the top of the list of referrals, and that wasn't just to consumers, that was who we did business with and partnerships with for our corporate housing and with the hospitals and the local schools. So personally, for me, I track my growth and the readiness by the partnerships that I get. So now I really only pay to post. And so I've done that and I get more, I'm getting paid more and these brands are coming back. So that's why I see that it's working. And Also, a lot of the brands will do commission. So through your link, if people purchase through your link, that's how they know that their leads are working with you. So if I'm working with the brand and no one's buying anything, because that does happen, there's people that buy followers or don't have really active, engaged followers, or as a woman, a lot of the brands will only work with me if I have 50% or more of women followers if I'm advertising women products. So they keep hiring me. So I believe what I'm doing is currently working, but I totally understand what you say, that people are just trying to get followers, companies are buying them, and it's not working if you have 100,000 followers and 3 people are commenting on your post.
So let me just expand upon that, and then I'll drop out again here. I think you nailed it. In an old world of marketing, in broadcasting, for example, I'm in radio, it was all about how many, not who and what they did with it or how engaged they were with it. And I think that's true across the marketing world, but particularly with social media. If you go into it with the old perception that it's just about how many followers, so I'll just buy them, how many clicks I get, how many people sign up for my webinar or something, and don't really pay attention to what you're doing. If it's all about just call me, then social media doesn't work. No, because social media is about creating a connection and starting a conversation. And if you're not really ready to carry on a conversation, if you're not interested in a true connection, you just want a lead that you can pester, then no, social media is not going to work for you.
Mm-hmm. And with Instagram and Facebook's algorithm, as I've met at the offices, they know, they could see that. They have a team of people who look and see what people are doing. So if you are doing that and abusing it and not being social, your posts aren't going to show up. So if you want people to engage, they're not, because they're not even going to see it.
So what do you think, Tess? Are we ready to have conversations? Or marketing's not supposed to be that. It's just supposed to be getting me in front of somebody so they'll contact me or give me a lead that I can follow up. They'll send in that coupon and then I'll pester them.
Yeah, and I think that marketers, especially digital marketers, are held to really high goals and high standards of how well we're doing in generating leads, especially for our sales teams. So I think it's easy to lose track that what's most important is that you're making these connections, and in having strong empathy for what motivates and engages is what leads to higher conversion. So it's interesting because we use social, but hearing this conversation with Brittany and having talked to her before, even made myself and our team step back and say, how do we make these connections deeper? Because Paul, like right now, I feel like we have to do it because of the pandemic.
Yeah, right.
Because we're in a remote world. And would we have otherwise? Maybe not. Maybe we wouldn't be giving it as much attention as we are now.
But I think we have to pivot and think how we do it and why we're doing it. For example, I'll give you, maybe this is a strange analogy. I hate going to networking events. Now, I know everybody's supposed to go to a networking event, and that's how you meet people and build your network. But they're never about really meeting people. They're just some guy running around passing out his business cards. Hey, how are you? What do you do? Here's my business card. Yeah, great. Call me. They don't really want to get to know me. They just want to get in front of me and pass out as many cards as quickly as possible. And when I start to talk to them, they're already looking over my shoulder like, yeah, that's really interesting. Hey, there's one over there I need to go get.
Yeah.
It's not about connecting, and it's not about conversing. If you're not willing to, if you're not really interested in connecting, which means back and forth, not just me telling you, and if you're not really interested in conversing, which is again, answering questions and finding what you can do for them, then no, social media is not about just how many followers you rack up and then they're going to instantly, sign up and for your service.
Mm-hmm. Well put. So okay. I have my question, Brittany. So when we're looking at social media strategies, you said, it's important to keep it behind a brand because people can switch over. And I totally think that makes sense. But do the social media platforms value what brands put out, like the content they put out, differently than what people put out?
There has been a new terms update because specifically with Instagram and Facebook, that they want you to pay for their sponsored post. So I don't know if you're ever scrolling through and you see something underneath and it says sponsored. That means that they paid to get that post out there to be visible. Mm-hmm. And I do believe for brands, they're kind of taking that advantage. So they may not within their algorithm have them show up more as just someone who's showing people how they love making their Sunday dinners as a person, as opposed to a big brand that has the money, because it's all about, too, at the end of the day, making money. Mm-hmm. So I would say you want to have a budget to get those sponsorships, which can in fact also present you to new audiences, but in turn, you're also being rewarded for actually utilizing that service. So when I did work in property management, we did have a budget, a social media budget, where we did do the sponsored ads as well, not just the organic ads like I do as a person for my personal brand that I can reach more.
Yeah, that is interesting. And is that true across all of the social platforms, that you need to sort of, as a business, have that mix of organic and paid to get like a real lift and real visibility on your content?
I think initially, once you create that audience, you may not need as much, but with our new buildings, we definitely have the organic and the paid mix. And I'm not saying really, like our average is probably $100 that we would use on an ad. And that was with Facebook and Instagram specifically. Now, YouTube, we did our videos, we would put the link in with the sponsored post, like for instance, with YouTube, we would put that in our Facebook carousel or post, or with a click ad on Instagram, or even in the link, there's a bio link in Instagram, but it definitely helps because if you don't have an audience, you have to find them somewhere. And Instagram would prefer you hiring them, or Facebook, as opposed to like when I started, I hired a company. So they're getting smart with that. Like, okay, people are hiring third parties to help grow. They need to hire us with their growth.
Awesome. So along the same lines as, business posting, business contact, one thing I get hung up on is the hashtag. I don't understand the role of it. I originally thought it was just a funny little joke that you put down. Is there a purpose? Do I need to be more intentional about it? How should companies think about hashtags?
Well, I believe a company should have their own personalized hashtag. So when you do build up that brand, people will see that and post it, and all of your content will be together for discovery. So hashtag is really about discovery. So if you ever went to a wedding and they're like, okay, this is our hashtag. And so you're at the wedding, you're posting your pictures. When you click on the hashtag, all the wedding pictures pop up through that hashtag. So that's the personalized hashtag. Now, if you're a company selling some type of equipment for other company or plane parts, you don't want to hashtag plane parts, plane equipment every single time, because there's something else that's called ghosting. And so then you will not show up in the discovery. So the hashtags, you want them to be specific to the post that you're posting. And I have some recommendations. There are some hashtag apps. So you're posting the picture, you can upload the picture, describe what it's about, and it'll generate. It's a hashtag generator. So one of them is called Tagstagram, it's like Instagram, but it's called Tagstagram. Okay. Another is called Hashtag Expert. And then there's a website that pops up and you just do a general Google search. So if you're posting something about planes, you can have top plane hashtags. And you can look at that and see what works for you. Another trick that I do, but it changes a lot with Instagram, but it works now to not get ghosted. As I said, I was an actress, so I will use actress hashtags a lot. So I'll put my hashtags in the first comment of my post. This is specific to Instagram. And I think now you're allowed up to only 30 hashtags per post. Then after 3 to 5 business days, after I feel like I've garnered new followers, people have clicked on it, I'll delete that comment. So my next post, if I want to use some of those hashtags, I can reuse them without being ghosted.
Huh. Well, we're learning a new word today. Or I guess I've always thought of ghosted as when like someone just, stops talking to me without any reason. But now,
definition, but they call it, oh my gosh, my hashtags have been ghosted. So if you're posting a lot about hair products and you click and you're not there anymore, they feel like you're abusing the hashtag, I guess.
Oh my gosh, that is crazy. So it's really important to pay attention to it, especially if you're trying to be discovered in a specific space.
Yes, and after you've reached that pivotal point, you don't really need it that much, but it's always room to continue growing. You always want to garner in new leads. So I don't use hashtags as much now, but they're definitely helpful for both Facebook and Instagram, even YouTube. YouTube is very important too.
Okay, I've never actually even thought of hashtags on YouTube.
Yeah, so if you're searching it, say you're wanting to look up a cooking recipe, or I'm trying to think of business examples, when you type that in, YouTube posts pop up based on that too.
Can I jump in again? You forced me to come out of the shadows again here and ask another question here.
Okay.
What's the difference between a hashtag and what's the other one they call where you
A handle, like an at.
no, they say you know, at Tenlo or something here. I mean, the hashtag is what? It's what you put into the body of the post.
Yeah, so the hashtag is for discovery. The at is your page. So if I put at Brittany Métis, that's how you locate my direct page across the platforms. But a hashtag Brittany Métis, if you click on that, that'll bring up other people that have posted about me, other pictures. So that's more of a discovery. So if you're looking for a recipe for donuts and you search hashtag donuts, whoever used the donuts recipe hashtag, you're going to see those pop up on YouTube.
I see. Okay. So when you're posting this, you're going to put that little crosshatch, that little look like the tic-tac-toe kind of thing. And then you're going to put your hashtag in. And if you get enough people to do it, then you'll trend or you'll show up or.
Yeah. So on Twitter, you'll see what's trending. That's the hashtag trend for Twitter. Yes.
Okay.
Like
A lot
football.
of people put the at symbol. They put at, at Tenlo or something here. And I'm like, they put that in there as well. So I'm doing this at Tenlo, and I'm wondering, is that as effective as putting the little hashtag? Hashtag is actually searchable, right?
Right. The at Tenlos, you can click on it and get to the page. But for instance, tonight, or something that's popular right now is Quarantine 15. Everyone's talking about they've gained the Quarantine 15, like the Quarantine 15.
Okay.
So hashtag Quarantine 15, people post like workout things or like food, and that was something that was trending. So if you're up on that, it's trending, you want to make a post, whether your business or anything like Quarantine 15 or to stay on trend like that, business.
Or should I put both of in all my posts, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter also? Should I put that at Tenlo and then put the hashtag of the topics I want to be found under?
You don't have to put at Tenlo. So at Tenlo, like if I made a post about this podcast, I would be like,
Right.
I had a great time with at Tenlo. So that
Wait,
people.
she said if. She said if she.
No, I mean,
Not if. When. Right.
when I will definitely promote. So when I make the post, I would put like had an awesome time with at Tenlo. We talked about hashtag B2B, like in that sense. So people can find Tenlo and they could also find what we talked about.
I'm an old guy. I don't understand all this. I think I've been doing it wrong.
It's okay.
Oh yeah. No, I've learned a lot. This is like my third conversation with Brittany, and I'm like, we need to just keep talking.
No, I keep talking. I'm like, oh, I didn't tell her that either. It's so much. Honestly, it is so much. That's why I had my little brother like help me, because I had no idea either. And he talks so fast. I'm like, okay, what do I do? But
So she really should put both in there. I had a good time at Tenlo, and then and on that social media, if I clicked on that, that would take me to the Tenlo page. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, so my followers, they can click on at Tenlo. You can also tag them in the video or picture. Then the hashtags are more discovery upon which we talked about, like hashtag podcast, hashtag the name of the show, talk radio, coronavirus marketing and coronavirus. So you can use a hashtag expert to get the right ones to post with.
You're going to have to do this again, Tessa, because a lot of people are scratching their heads. I think I got it now. I think she explained it better than we've had lots of people try and tackle this, because everybody always wants to put the little at symbol in and then the crosshatch symbol. And when to use one or the other here? And should you make them the same? No, because the crosshatch is the conversations, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's been helpful. So Paul, do I have time for one more question?
You do, because I took over and asked mine. So you get.
No, it's okay. Well, the other thing other than hashtags that's been mystery is TikTok. So I'm now getting targeted with all these ads saying that businesses should stop making commercials and start making TikToks. What is TikTok good for? Why is that a benefit to businesses?
Well, if your target market too, I believe would be people between the ages of 15 to maybe 35. That's where everyone is at right now, TikTok. I don't know if you've seen kids in the store doing all these crazy little that's TikTok. And
my grandson, yes, right. He's crazy about TikTok, and I don't even know what the heck it is, but it seems like just short videos. It's like very short. It's what Periscope tried to be once way back when, little snippet videos.
Oh yeah.
The upcoming generations have very short attention spans. So TikTok is for that. Quick videos. I think we were discussing previously about the trade shows, like how you can do like quick little, that would be a great idea if since we're missing out on the trade shows because of coronavirus. TikTok would be a great thing to maybe do some demonstrations really quick. And as you're using TikTok, and I'm still learning about it, it's a lot. So I haven't reached my large following on TikTok. And if you're doing those, as the kids are doing the dances, the youth, even adults now, I saw my grandma on TikTok. I'm like, wow, really? Because they just laugh at the videos. So it's really for entertainment. And I've also seen some that's educational with a little laugh factor in it. So that would be awesome for businesses to jump on that now. It's like the new Instagram. But
it's got to be entertaining. It can't be, it's not like a listicle where here's the 3 tips to a better seminar. Here's 3 tips to that.
Mm-hmm.
Still, I've seen cooking tutorials that weren't funny, but the ones that do very well in trends, some kind of like comedic element to it. People are bored right now and they're at home scrolling through these apps. So you want to have I would recommend a little bit of entertainment, but still keeping it on brand and professional with what you're doing.
Yeah.
Emerging TikTok stars. I shouldn't get political, but Kellyanne Conway, the White House counselor, daughter became a big TikTok star, so much so that that's really why mom and dad quit what they're doing. They're going to go back and kind of ramp her down because she's kind of having these raves and rants and meltdowns on TikTok and become a big star because of it. Yeah.
Well, I bet that's entertaining.
It's very entertaining. I've seen some of the stuff she does, but I mean, she comes out and wishes AOC would adopt her and all these other things. She does things here, and her mother's working for the president. No, it's a very but for those that aren't in the know, but she's become a big star on TikTok, and there are others like this just instantly coming up out of nowhere.
They're trying to shut down TikTok in the United States.
Right.
So Instagram, because they're on top of it, has something called Reels, Reels, which is very similar to TikTok, and it's within Instagram. So I would say be prepared for both, but it's the same type of concept.
And why are they trying to shut it down? I'm lost. Is it just because it's a Chinese company and we don't like Chinese?
I'm not sure the president wants to shut it down. I think because of a lot of I really don't know. I don't know the background of it, but I know all the young people in my life are like, oh my gosh, TikTok is going to be shut down by this president. Right. So that's all. I don't know why exactly.
American company to buy it. They was trying to get Microsoft to buy it or something because there was some fear of the Chinese are influencing our kids or something. I don't know.
No idea. But Instagram is very cool with that, and they recently, I think a couple weeks ago, they came out with something called Reels. And so now I've been seeing that a lot. And if you are on Instagram and you're a business and you use these new releases quickly, they reward you. So you pop up quicker. So.
Yeah, and I definitely think there's a business application even for the most technical products, because what brought people to even work at that company, or what brought people to work at the companies that buy technical products, is passion. And there's entertainment when you sort of bring that passion forward. So I feel like, especially if it's on Instagram, which has, really sophisticated targeting, you could add personality to your brand.
I worked at a startup company. We started off with like 10 employees, and something we did big to start with the social media was birthdays. They completely embarrassed you on your birthday, but it was fun. So we would record that and post that. So something that simple. It had nothing really to do with the brand, but people that were wanting to work for us and came on later, like, oh my gosh, you guys do the birthdays, right? Like that was something that the company was known for, like hats, and they would bring in clowns sometimes for adult birthdays, and just different ideas like that to show your company culture.
Since we've already blown past the half hour here, let me and we don't have another show immediately after this. So let me ask it. Can I take advantage of this moment to ask? Are companies embracing? I'm talking about big companies embracing these new fun platforms, TikTok, Instagram Reels, or are they are they scared of it because it empowers the ordinary people to start doing goofy things, and maybe that doesn't fit the corporate image, maybe that hasn't been vetted and tested, maybe we don't want our employees out there doing goofy things for birthdays and stuff here because we're not in control of it.
Well, that's what you have to be in charge of, who's in charge of your social media. And now, I know when I first got out of undergrad, there weren't a lot of positions in marketing because of the recession. But now there's so many people hiring for social media coordinators, social media head, social media. So you have to have those people in the place that you check the content. Because yes, I have seen larger companies, things have been released and people have even been fired that worked for a company unrelated because of their social media presence. So you do have to be careful. Previous larger companies I've worked for, you have to sign things off. We even had to sign waivers saying that we might be on social media via the company, specifically the one with the birthdays. But you just have to have someone in place to filter all that.
Okay.
That's awesome. So, Brittany, how can people who have more questions about this get in touch with you? Because this is your area of expertise, clearly, and your profession. So how can they get in touch with you?
They can contact me at info@brittanymaty.com. So that's info@brittanymaty.com. Or now we're talking about social media, just send me a DM at Brittany Maty on Instagram.
Whatever the heck a DM is here. I got to go look that one up here. A direct message, I think she means. How do we spell Brittany Maty? Because I would never figure it out.
It is BRITTANYMAYTI, and I'm the only Brittany Maty in the world.
I'll bet.
Oh, that's awesome.
Perfect.
And then
perfect handle, hashtag, whatever here. Right?
Yeah. I would say that we're the only Tenlo, but we're not. There's actually a DJ named Tenlo. So you can.
Wow, okay.
We are on Instagram. You can visit us at tenlo.com. We have lots of other episodes from Leader Generation on tenlo.com under podcast. Subscribe, reach out and suggest new topics, or feel free to shoot us questions, and we will answer them on our future episodes.
Okay, that's it. We're going to wrap it up from there. And if anybody wants to, how did they find out about your other thing you were talking about? This, I was intrigued at the commercial. We'll give you another 30 seconds to do a quick commercial on this. What do you call it? Digital playbook or something here?
Yeah, the digital readiness playbook. So that is, you can go to tenlo.com, just go contact us and request a digital readiness session. In basically about 60 minutes, we help bring an external view to how you're building relationships, how you're approaching digital trade shows, and sort of the new things that have entered our marketing tool set since the beginning of the pandemic, and looking at what's great and what can we learn from this moment and what should be tested. And then we have some training and programs available that can help you test new tactics to keep your leads up and kind of sell through this time.
Well, if you keep getting guests like Brittany, I'm going to keep coming back and listening, because these are people on the cutting edge of what are very confusing, quickly being thrown at us opportunities to talk and communicate with customers. I don't think most of us know what to do with them or how to do with them, so we just avoid them or to try and shut them down or hope they go away.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you, Paul.
Well, there you have it. Another example of why you need to tune in each and every week to this show right here on the Funnel Radio Network for at-work listeners like you.
All right.